Hi. We, are living safe and success and living possible is really important. All persons is a life cycle. But to the woman, in my sense, in life cycle, is very sensitive because woman move from the both the parents' livings to the husband's living places, spaces, so that to the woman the living places changed in differences. That is marriage. In my trying to say is yin and yang harmonies. In and yang harmony is also the yin is must be important roles because when the living of the woman's life cycle, I'm trying to talking on the living life cycles, the marriages. So I'm title on today's is marriage. Most know knowledge. Truly, man also, woman also do not know the principal problem, the behavior and movings, so that truly, if we know the why marriages, the people marriages, if we know some knowledge, then it's better to living's completions, success, self livings. Yeah, Paul helping this. I'm trying to talking on it. This lections based on my blogs. On my blogs, saying is woman in getting marriage, creation of knowledge, righteous soul, living energy, and this keyword is appear up. Woman is from a righteous soul living in the destination place in of minus. Equal in minus a creating righteous soul. Creating by a in the righteous soul living destination. In the righteous soul living in destination place. A creator creating the righteous souls. Righteous soul. Souls. So create. In the righteous living destination of creating righteous souls, there is not differences in yin and yang. In the righteous living destination of creators and creating, then explain to the all righteous souls on yin and yang harmony. Yin and yang harmony. Yin and yang harmony. It means that righteous soul living, there's no creating the righteous soul, then to the righteous souls, yin and yang harmony explains. So that righteous soul explain yin and yang harmony. After that, a righteous soul decided, and the questions create and all talking explain to the righteous souls. Then creator asking, which way living in our yang. So that, and now in the macro concept of the righteous soul reply to the question of the yin and yang and harmony. So then creating righteous soul answer, and I can living in people in marrying no knowledge, then is the righteous soul, in this case is marrying is a woman, so righteous soul answer to and create asking which way you will on living, then a righteous answer. Righteous soul answer in the woman. So that we should not know that, but in the import, or we trying to talking on today's people marrying must know knowledges like this stuff. So most of the persons know that is they're in the living and also creation of knowledge, power of creation of knowledge. So righteous soul is silence and clear. Of power of creation of knowledge and no teaching. We all those created from righteous living destinations are creating so that righteous soul is how to living in the we are seeing all this macro concept of feeling is righteous inside. Macro concept all inside the feeling is silence and clear. Then we got some very urgent is how to do. We decide and to the righteous way then is creation of helpers. So most creation knowledge we know that presume in and harmony. But if we do not keep a condition of inside silence clean of then yin and yang harmony is creation knowledge yin and yang harmony. This is impossible. So that it must be to live in righteous soul, then righteous soul feeling is creation knowledge, and the creation knowledge is talking to the yin and yang harmony. Maybe. So if based on righteous living, then all of the livings in the macro concept world has no that. People married how to know it. Or woman's meeting how to young and man, then after meeting is in young, then how to livings. So that is yin and yang harmony. Yin and yang harmony already explains from the righteous living that created after creating the righteous souls. Okay. So in the righteous living destinations, the structure is there is any body but just righteous souls. So macro concept is now our livings, how the livings. In living in the macro concept world. So at this time here, in is not body, but woman is body. So we can explain this is must be righteous soul in minus plus body plus mind. Equals woman. Righteous win is from here where righteous living destination. The righteous soul living in destination place. Body and mind is is micro concept world we can define, but here is to explain that it's very large. But anyway, body and mind is from use micro concepts world. Truly, concept means that we do not know it. It is also the concept. This is macro concept world. Macro concept world. As this concept is, we should not know it. But actually, to explain this is we might define in micro concept on my books. You can see in Amazon. Micro concept. S. 성주 Choi, CEON 성주 Choi. If we're more interested on these structures, the righteous living woman structure is righteous in minus plus body plus mind. This is woman, but actually in is here in, then body and mind, so woman's. So the woman's in the macro concept of the woman, this woman is feeling is righteous in knowledge is body, in the touch and sustainable mind. In the body is the cosmos, the righteous in living place, like a house or home. Mind is, if do not know the righteous living ins, at the time mind is supporting the body, so the mind and the body is very strong connecting. So the woman is explains with this. The same is woman is this is woman is righteous soul based on righteous energy woman, but the same is the woman is we are different women maybe. So in the you can see here Amazon's micro concept, and then you can see that. So we keep going on as possible as can is based on my scriptures. So righteous. This is a woman in creating righteous soul. You know, this is a creating from righteous souls. But actually, some harder to explain. But we are trying to talking. But please, this is trying to talking on today's. But trying to make a note that the other situations is if cannot or do not what most people live is free. So this way livings, the other livings has the if not living righteous living ins, then this way of living has weak soul in minus plus body, plus body and mind, plus body and mind. So called this is righteous soul woman, but here is wicked soul, wicked soul woman. Yeah. Must be in the macro concept world. Macro concept world is macro concept world is this body, minds, right? This macro concept world. Then just when our soul living is micro concept world. So in the macro concept world living, the place is pre-choice how to livings. This way livings and righteous soul livings and wicked souls livings. So that righteous soul livings is very important. Righteous soul livings is and righteous soul living can and helping for creation of knowledge. Creation of knowledge, righteous living of this woman's how to livings, then helping from creation of knowledge, saying yin and yang harmony. Yin and yang harmony. Righteous soul keep yin and yang harmony because righteous soul creation of helping them yin and yang harmony, because in the yin and yang harmony we're talking. All talking explained from creators, so that as to just to create the talking and the yin and yang harmony, in livings, yang living, all talking talked. So in the talking is righteous soul. Macro concept world here, righteous woman, so that righteous soul woman is here. Righteous soul body. Okay, so this is righteous woman. Righteous woman can remind the creator talkings. So all basically righteous soul livings, macro concept living is safer and success and completion of the voyage, the macro concept. So some very complicated, but righteous soul in from micro concept world, macro concept from in the body and mind is from macro concept world. So that it is very complications. Do not complicate, please. This is simple. Now living is macro plus micro. Is now living. Macro is body and minds. Micro is righteous soul. So that I'm trying to explain this, going that the righteous soul body trying to keep based on yin and yang harmony. Righteous keep yin and yang harmony, but here wicked soul woman, not woman's. So if you are some anger, so wicked soul body, maybe body. As living returns do not silence and clear. And inside is silence, not silence, clear. That is loud and dirty. loudly and dirty. Unburnt residue. Therefore, in the wicked soul livings do not know yin and yang harmony, so that do not keep yin and yang harmony. So I explain this. There's people marrying the must know the knowledges. So it must be if living in the Kiba law of yin and yang harmony, then a woman keep a rule of righteous living in a place. Righteous soul woman, yin and yang harmony, and creation of knowledge, and what righteous living in destination, all connect here. Righteous soul body, yin and yang harmony, creation of knowledge, righteous living destination, silence clean clear, all is righteous soul community. So in the macro concept of now living a righteous soul body, if a keep a rule of a righteous living destination coincide with same as a righteous soul keeper yin and yang harmony. We are here macro, micro. So micro is righteous soul, macro is body and mind. So, and now living is macro livings because we are body and minds and righteous. But micro is body and minds is all disappear then appear then. So some here is how explain is very detailed, and we so position must be. So we starting righteous soul in starting from micro concept world, body and mind from macro concept world, So we are living in the righteous soul living of the woman who righteous soul bodies can living in the macro concept world. But if we living after, then we are returning to the where micro of where returning to micro concept world. After living all here, macro concept world, then we all self return to the righteous living destination. So that righteous living in is purpose is where here is creator creatings. So where is righteous living's home? Righteous living home is also righteous living destinations. So that we are must be here macro living, micro living. Here comes micro, that micro, that macro to micro. This is voyage. Some very difficult. Sorry, but difficult. But please watching and please listen to me. Voyage. This voyage purpose is righteous soul living energy to this is this is righteous souls here, righteous souls mission here righteous in the living is macro conceived to completion or creation of righteous living energy from one limitless to the limitless, as same as creation of knowledge also to this is macro concept 보야지. So that righteous soul ends. Why start from creating in the righteous living destiny to the macro concept? Now here is body and minds, and then after living then here. That is why in the living now, our living is the purpose or planning or mission of a righteous living destination is righteous living energy from one perimeter to limitless. Creation of knowledge one perimeter to limitless. These livings, this very dangerous of in these voyages and livings. So most livings are dangerous in the macro concept because here, wicked soul, this is easy, this is hard. So that righteous livings is very hard because why? This righteous living is based on here micro, macro, micro, now living, voyage, here missions, completions. But here is actually this is not. All is like this, but wicked soul, what happened? Righteous living must completion of righteous living energy. Completion. This is conditions to after living to the righteous living destination. But if in the macro concept livings do not living as a righteous living mission, this is mission maybe. Mission clear, unclear. Mission clear, then micro concept burst, then macro living, the micros, and then after all this body and minds disappear, then is micro concept righteous soul purely come returning. Then to be returning, then is righteous living energy, righteous creation knowledge poses to be limitless. Its condition is completion, then naturally here righteous living destiny place. Yes. If living in the law of yin and yang harmony, then a woman keep a rule of a righteous living destiny place. Yes. Righteous soul bodies keep living in the yin and yang harmony, then automatically keep a righteous living rules. All these righteous living's mission clear, same. Righteous living destinations, why? The Creator talking, all explain. Why? In the righteous living destination, Creators talking, all talking explain on yin and yang harmony. Why? It is very essential and urgent to the voyage to the macro concept, because macro concept living is very dangerous and very risky. As compared to the in's body, not strong. Yang is strong. So that yin and yang harmony must is in's safe livings with from helping from what? Yin and yang harmony is in minus must be not strong physically. So that yin minus living with yang, who keep safe in, because yang is strong, physically strong. Okay, strong. Furthermore, yang plus helped from in what? Yang in expect safe from dangerous. Yang expect from in is to be righteous behavior. What is that is? In shares time with yang, in help yang, in doing real love yang. In helped from yang, strong expected safe livings. Safe living. Yang is doing real from ins. But even yang safe living is a kind of doing real love. Real love. In. But in living is help yang to be strong powers. In help strong power yang, strong power yang help in safe living. So that yin and yang harmony is must be in's living, yang's living, both well here growing. Yin, yang, both righteous soul, mission clear, helping each other, so that righteous living keep a rule of yin and yang harmony. This is what yin and yang both righteous living energy limitless, creation knowledge limitless, so that yin and yang mission clears and what righteous living destination place safely returning. Yeah. So this like all right this if a woman do not keep a cosmos laws of equal living, then truly infer that this writing is not any help, even though if you know this yin and yang harmony on the righteous living, then even a wicked soul also to be living better than do not know yin and yang harmony. Truly we do not know that in the macro concept all this. Who knows it? Where yin and yang harmony? we do not know it. But if you know yin and yang harmony, if you do not know yin and yang harmony, the living ends the difference. If you do know yin and yang harmony, then the living is, the cycle, the big huge cycles, the cycle then in the macro conceived livings, macro conceived righteous soul, safe and doing real love living is, well, yin and yang harmony. This living is in yang harmony. So that I'm trying to talk things not here, wicked soul, but righteous soul, because righteous soul is real, wicked soul is the result of that. The living is all attitude to living in the righteous soul, but how to do that is to not reject righteous living conditions, the righteous living energy limitless, and creation knowledge limitless, so that what they do not safely turn into the righteous living destination, where it must be temporarily, just to do not completion of righteous or condition, then they must be fall into the wicked soul living destination. So, and now the talking on people marrying must know the knowledges. So this is not, but this is all righteous living focus and real talkings. So maybe before marrying must know knowledge. This knowledge is yin and yang harmony. We must all know that, even though the inside of creation knowledge is helping the yin and yang harmony, but we do not know it because we are very busy, and even all persons or each person has yin and yang harmony conditions, so automatically lovely the man, the woman lovely man, then humbly attitude to the man's. But sometimes the woman's living is with man, then is sometimes anger, because man's behavior is strong, physically strong. The man's living yang is the same as righteous or pros, body and minds, then the man must, right? The man is what? Keeper from dangerous or unsecure from the out of source. So man's roles. So man's living and woman's livings, or yin's livings, yang's livings, some difference. But here, wicked soul in maybe do not keep a rule, because in the livings all over, the livings surely must righteous is not. All its options, all livings are differences. If a living is a righteous living, then a living's dream is safely return to the righteous living destination. But here, wicked soul's living is easy livings. For the easy livings, all in the macro concept of livings, the easy, not choose difficult. Righteous living difficult, wicked soul easy living. In the easy living is maybe explained in the yin and yang harmony. From now on, I can explain that based on yin and yang harmony. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway. Okay. It is harder. So, based on this explain, so here yin and yang harmony explained already in the creators. So I'm reminded you, people marrying must know knowledges. Reminding of yin and yang harmony for righteous living in only, not for Yukisol ins. So if this knowledge for all limited for righteous living ins, okay. So please understanding this living, this yin and yang harmony is righteous souls, righteous livings. I'm starting now. Knowledge is yin and yang harmony, brother. So yin and yang harmony is based on yin, yang. In the macrocosm world, there's yin living, yang living, all same. So that it is also decisions. Just for easy living over wicked soul living, then do not marriage also. Even in the marrying also, some happening over these ways. Yin and yang is same. In the righteous living tradition, creating, and after creating righteous soul, then explain the yin and yang harmony, and then after that, asking which way of living in the macrocosm voyages. Then a woman is, yes, I'll choose the yin, and the man, yes, I can choose the yang, so that yin and yang harmony is now happening. So in the macro concept, all those livings, yin is sin, body and minds combined to the righteous soul body. Righteous bodies must be the woman in minus, okay, so yin is woman, plus of yang is man. So yin is woman, yang is man in the macro concept world. But in the truly in it's based on yin and yang harmony from the micro concept world of righteous living destination over planning and creation of knowledge, so that in the righteous living in destination all created feeling and safe up, and then trying to talking is the best way in the macro concept of living voyages yin and yang harmony. But refuse impossible, because all of macro concept in the man and woman refuse to the yin and yang harmony for easy livings, because yin and yang harmony is really hard, because just the macro concept of the macro concept of the just safe living is what is the all purpose. The poet proposed righteous living energy limitless, creation knowledge limitless, as the help of both yin and yang harmonies, yin and yang both keep this just macro concept of righteous soul mission clears. The mission clears is the profound, more important thing. So accept righteous soul, accept it. Yin and yang harmony livings, hard livings, sometimes unequality livings, but the yin is living is in living is in best can to living. Yang is yang best can to living. So truly yin and yang harmony is in living in naturally in the given to the yins. So I give in the righteous living nation of create righteous or choose the way, because when choose the in living, then the in living is best livings into the ins. Yang living is best living is based on this yin and yang. So that yin and yang harmony is, it keep basing is in living is in is best thing living on in. Yang living yang is best living on in. We condition. This is condition. So that yin help yang to be rest. Yang help yin to be rest. In the long run of in the macro concept voyages, huge tires and hard livings, so that yin and yang each help each others, and in for to work for rest, yang resting, yang work for in resting, so that both livings sometimes working, sometimes is resting. So here working is host, rest is guest. In the yin and yang harmony is very important thing is help each other, because in the long time of livings, if we do not resting, then the living is tired. So our livings long terms is must not, completion. Maybe it's completion keyword. Completion. Macro concept of righteous or poetic completions must be strong. Must be not in tired. So who help to not tired and running to the strong and run to the righteous living destination? Who help? In help yang, yang help in. That is yin and yang harmony's concept. This is yin and yang equal is right. Who knows that equal? This is personally. Do not meet man. Do not meet in do not meet yang. Then equal. This is very natural. But also, wicked soul is loving yin and yang equal. So wicked soul still, maybe yin and yang, wicked soul is kept in equal yang. So yin is do not help yangs. Yang is do not help yin. Just personal yin and yang is living for easy livings, because this is easy living. Here is okay. So some difference here is, but righteous soul, yin and yang harmony. It is important. Okay, harmony is not here. In minus yang equal 0. This is yin and yang harmony formulas. This is yin and yang equal formulas. Okay. As a yin and yang harmony, right now we are talking which word? Before marrying must know the knowledges. Here, before marrying knowledges. To explain this, before marrying must know it. It basic is yin and yang harmony is basic is where in living, in like and in best thing livings. Yang is yang like to yang best thing livings yin and yang. In help yang to be best. Yang help you to be best. This is yin yang, very simple. So that here, this is yin and yang is living. So that this is, we call that is Allah expression, because this is not my talking. This is must be in the macro concept of the now living is happening. Then is man and woman is same. Yes, man and woman same. This is this is mostly the woman's attitude to the man. Yes, right. Yin and yang is same, but you know, yin and yang harmony, yin and yang harmony, yin and yang harmony here is very strong. You know, just the righteous living in destinations, in the righteous living destinations, righteous soul, creator asking which way you are young in the righteous living destination, and asking the enhanced woman, then yin and yang harmony is very strong here. Ordained in ordained yang. Righteous living intention is creators designing alls. Very important. So that the woman, righteous in minus plus body minds of a woman, righteous or woman, to be met as designs by creators. Creator. Righteous living in destination, all talking explained here, all talking. Yin and yang harmony, all talking then, in the yin and yang harmony include then meeting ordinary yin, ordinary yang. To be must meet. Surely meet in the macro concept world. Import that in the righteous living in destinies or righteous rover souls, daydreams, or if I meet my ordained yin and yang, and I can do help for, you know, excitement with the ordained, the man and my pairs, their dreams. But actually, in the macro concept comings, then is the living is not simple. Huge number of variances occur, and so even this is not happen, must be called righteous soul, because righteous living way is this real living is, but truly righteous living is hard, and you know, righteous living energy limitless, and what creative knowledge is limitless. How to be completion like this? All relations with yin and yang harmony. So, say again, the marrying couple is pair is must be meeting ordinary yin, ordinary yangs. So that we talking on the righteous living in meets right the ordains or yang. It's clear, you know. This is this way. Okay, so if living in the for the marrying living, then all living all based on yin and yang harmonies, yin and yang equal. So this is yin and yang equal. This is yin and yang harmony. Okay, this is yin and yang harmony formula. This is yin and yang equal. This is only equal. So that equal means that yin can do the yangs, yang can do yins. So, but also yin and yang do not help each other, because only for easy livings, not teams, but enemy. Even living all the personal livings, not combining two teams, help each team, not but this yin and yang is differences. So even living the area of Ikiso living this way, just then say clearly to you then nothing. If you're trying to living on yin and yang equal, then go that livings. But if you're trying to keep living that yin and yang harmony, basic is in living in the base, living on characteristic yins, yang living yang best to work living the way in yang. The yang in living what help yang to be rested. Yang help what yin to be help. The both then is what happened. I can live as my in just understanding and considerations, so that sometimes I can rest things. So the righteous will win and give a time to yang to resting, to energy restores, to be the what yang help stronger, in help strong physical yang, and strong physical yang help to into safe livings. So that his woman living is help yang to be living strong yang. The what is man is God. Okay, man is okay. Woman host rest. What is this? I think sorry, walking. This is walking, resting. Walking is host, resting is guest. So that woman work help strong yang. Working host in here. Host is here. Guest is here. Yin and yang harmony's very strong point is yin and yang living. Then yin have a time for yang living's restore of energy, and yang help yin's living safer livings. Yang living is outside the livings. So I'm trying to explain on these ways. Okay. So clear again. Wikisoul livings yin and yang equal. Equal is base. Equal is a strong keyword. But here is yin and yang harmony is what? Help each other. So that yin and yang harmony here, yin and yang harmony, where connected to here, maybe righteous soul, silence clinical great knowledge, in that here yin and yang harmony is it shares time with other, help other, and doing real love other. Here is righteous living behaviors. If our living is righteous living, then automatically a righteous living is share time with others and help others and doing real love others. That is righteous living behaviors. So the righteous livings keep a rule over yin and yang harmony. The yin and yang harmony is automatically yang living. Okay, so change it. yin and yang harmony is yang shares time with yin, yang help yin, yang doing real love yin. This is yin and yang harmony. The same as yin share time is yang, yin help yin, yang, yin doing real love the yang. Yes, same. What is difference? This is not meet. Yin and yang equal is still do not meet. But we are still keep saying this. Yin and yang harmony basis what? Ordinate yin, ordinate yang. This ordinate yin and yang is where? From righteous limitation, creators always ordinated to be meet in the macro concept world. To be met macro concept world. So from now on, okay, yin and yang harmony equations. Yin and yang harmony equations. Equation is yin 빼기 yang equal 0. This is yin and yang harmony. Yin and yang equal. This yin and yang harmony. Which is yin and yang equal here. This is righteous soul in furthermore, here yin is ordinate yin, yang is ordinate yin. Clear. So that it is not difference, it is not same. Wikisoul living attitude is in the living the way the man and woman is disputed and conflicted. Because why? Here, yin and yang equal, and man and woman equal. So that to be equal livings, to be easy livings, the man and woman's meeting, or then yin and yang, but they do not, in the long times, they not to yang share time is in, yang help in, yang doing love the in share time is yang, in help yang, in doing love the in. This is general, because ordinance in. How this is anger? Because my real Lord is near with me. So I can do help. I can do real love. I share with him. As I share with him, then yin share with the yang share with the yin, and solve the problem of lonesome feelings. If should to me meet ordinary yang and ordinary in, but if do not, then is always ordinary in and ordinary yang trying to real love my pairs. Pair. Pair. Who doing real love in the huge number of the populations? Just one trying to find me, long distance or where we do not know it. But people managing to meet me, my audience ins go around to me. You see, people managing in the huge number of the men and women meeting, then if leaving me is a woman, then a man is around of me. If leaving me is the woman, then the man is around of me. Why? How to do? To seek to find all the end man and woman, all the end yin and yang. I'm trying to talking on these borders. Here we explained it. Worker, host, resting guest. This yin and yang is nonetheless is nothing with, because yin and yang do not help each other. This based on this, So yin and yang is given basically. Yin and yang living is easy. Why? Why easy? Living is other than is. My living is very hard because other livings I have to help for. I have to share with time. I have to some doing real of others, so that others living is the reluctance livings. If there is others singly, if only my living, then my life is free. This is free. But this is not free. Not free. And also, two livings, easy livings. Only me is rich and best food and delicious food, whatever things. But this yin and yang harmonies. If I cook, if I something for my fairs, for my, I'm the host to the guest of my fair. If a yin is hosting to the yang is then to the yin's attitude toward the yin and yang harmony. So that as at times, yin is working, yin is harmony, yin's place. Okay, here, yin and yang harmony is, yin's host place is inside. Inside. Yang is what? Strong. Physical strong, safe living, helpful, safe living, here, safe living. Yang is outside, so that yin is host in inside. Yang is outside, host place. That instead of resting guest place, yang is guest inside, in guest in outside. This equation is yin is host, inside the host. Yang is out here. Minus means is guest. Minus guest. Yin and Yang harmony is very strong concept is zero. Zero. It is zero is silence clear. Zero. Zero is cosmos, maybe. Cosmos. Zero. Cosmos zero. This cosmos is original in the beginning of the cosmos status is silence and clear. So there's still cosmos trying to keep turning back to the beginning of status of silence clear. So that this is original silence clear zero. Then yin and yang harmony between yin and yang living. What is that? Yin living with yang. Yang living with yin. Yin living is host time is for the rest of the yang. Yang living host time is for the rest of yin. This is what is between yin and yang meeting that there is any dispute, there is any anger, there is any fight. But in the place is to be equal over the right side, zero, cosmos zero. It must be in the left side, it must be zero. This is yin and yang harmony. But in here, it don't necessarily to be equal zero, because it never ever zero. Because yin must living, yang must live, do not help each other. To be zero then, yin and yang plus equal then is zero, but not, just living and yin and yang harmony. Yes, harmony means that is balance. Some do not. Harmony is, I can explain by my voice. Harmony is the balance. Balance is best balance is zero, equal. Zero is here zero then is best. Righteous living here it is very explained and deeply then I'm trying to talking, and is here the woman no righteous soul, micro, macro, returning to the righteous living destination. Status is what is zero. Maybe we called as righteous soul orbit. Orbit is the way of satellite to the moon from the earth to the moon. This orbit is very collections. If some detour, then is the vehicle of a satellite run out of orbit, then to be lost. The same is righteous living orbit, righteous souls. Orbit is zero. This zero is impossible. Yin and yang unequal, and equal is main keyword is impossible, because yin and yang living is must be in electric charge, then is minus and plus is probably actions, but minus separate from and plus separate, then is there is any flow of the electrons. Naturally, truly impossible yin and yang are separating, but in the strangely human beings yin and yang is separate living. In the separate living, then is it never ever to be completion of zero, so that as a yin and yang equal, separate yin and separate yang cannot go to the returning to the righteous living destinations. So I explain. People marrying must know the knowledges. I'm trying to talking. to help understanding why yin and yang this equation is important. Why? Yin and yang harmony. This zero must be zero. Then it is really impossible, because in this case is in the host working host living in anger to the yang. Then that is living is not here. Yin and yang equals, because most people intended to livings, and living easy living, yang living easily, but this is impossible. Righteous living always to the righteous living destination. Yin and yang harmony means is what here propose. Living man and woman meetings and living in the macro concept world. Then in the after that is man and woman, righteous soul, yin and yang harmony, righteous living return to righteous living destinations. This is in the macro concept livings. This is why trying to help people marrying must know the knowledges. If the marrying is the man and the woman, and yin and yang living based on yin and yang harmony, then the harvest is righteous living energy is limitless, creative knowledge is limitless. The righteous soul macro concept voyage mission is clear. This living is really hard voyages, so that in the hard voyages must be sometimes resting time. Resting. Who made for resting? Who? Audience in made for audience yang's the resting time. Audience yang rest made for audience in's this yin and yang harmony. So there's sometimes mistake and misunderstanding in these equations. It's based on, it's saying is the same host outside the yang or another. Okay, so to help just outside the yang is, from these equations, in move to the yang. Yang, in, move, yang. No. Yang minus yin equal this zero, this cosmos 0, in. But we say it's inside, outside, inside, outside. Here is outside. Outside. Here it's inside. Outside is, what is that? State, country, company. Of a structure of outside. So man's living is outside host. Sometimes in the war times, man's to the war then and dies in the war. So an army and army duty, whatever. This yang, this company for the secure of a company is growing and productivity, and even is this. But this is not explained because now is the boundaries in and out is some not clear. But trying to saying is in is just we say is in is inside. We can hear because in and out is not clear. This is physical. This is based on philosophical concept, right? So please do not hear is clearly whatever explain. Philosophical knowledge here. yin and yang harmony is philosophical knowledge. No LETC. As that, you know that yin and yang is each other, help each other, so that help each other, and then to reach this creation of knowledge is limitless, righteous living, energy limitless, help each other, then is yin and yang harmony. So I'm trying to very thoroughly trying to talking is why I'm trying to learn is yin and yang harmony, this equation solving. In is host is worker is what here, in help yang, zero, right? This inside, maybe inside. This inside is very important. Here is inside, maybe inside, here inside, inside the host. Here is in help strong physical yang. In help yang physical strong yang. So then yang is returning to the yang's position here. Yang here. As helping yang strong. Strong physical yang help what in. But it's not impossible. But anyway, here, in, out. Host is in host is yang. So this outside is card. Safe in. Then inside is and guard and safe in, and what is help in inside is guest, right? Guest yang help who host to help in to what in the outside strong physical strong the soldier, maybe here is inside keeping. Truly yin and yang harmony has a building in and out. Here is not in equal yang, is there is any in and out discrimination. Very important thing is truly all just yin and yang harmony, people managing the most know the knowledge is yin and yang harmony. This equation is old. This equation in and yang harmony, how to be zero, how to be equal of a cosmos knowledge, how to be righteous living orbit, how to zero, how to worker, host inside. In is here. Worker, host in inside. And here. Resting guest, yang in inside. Is here. Righteous living over in prosperity minds of righteous digestive body of a woman is accepted these equations, but wicked soul body of wicked soul do not accept these equations because it's based on wicked soul living is yin and yang harmony, not yin and harmony equal. So then, from this equation, change it to this equation because this is non-meetings, odd and yin and yang. All is difference person, but this is meetings, odd and yin, odd and yang. This is yin and yang harmony equations. Yin and yang harmony equations. So, say explained in worker, host, in inside. So that in the inside, in place, host is in. So, can do help. Here is way. Share time is in share time is yang, in help yang, in to nearly of the yang. Here inside work, just the host. Only host can do help. Shares time is yang, and to nearly of the yang. Only host place in inside. Say again, inside is not clear. This is based on practical knowledge. Before marrying must know the knowledges. Why I'm trying to talk is still strongly saying on this, still keep reciting on in host and yang is that in is host working, host inside. Yang is guest, resting, working, resting. Yang is why? In the inside, yang is resting. Then, in help resting yang. Why? In help strong pain, physically yang. Here in the yin and yang harmony, in help yang to be physically stronger. Even not physical at all. Physically stronger than what happened? Physically strong yang help in safe living here. And here safe living. As in strong then in the outside safe living. Where? Safe living then automatically inside is stronger. Okay. So then I changed it in how to yang, this equation solving it. How to in minus yang equal 0? How to in the host place, in's place is in's host, in's working. How to win minus yang equal 0? How to? Okay. I can explain this. It's really important. For example, in ship, yang ship. This is energy. So that in ship, yang ship. So in ship 더하기 plus sorry, I'm Korean. Plus minus here minus yang ship equal. Then here is plus ship plus 10. Here's minus 10. So that to be 0 then is here 0, here 0. Then how to 0, 0? So then in 10 빼기 10, minus 10 and minus 10 here, this minus 10 here, plus 10 and 10 minus 10 equals 0. Minus 10 plus plus 10 equals 0. so that here equation in 빼기 in 0 빼기 in 0 minus 양 equal 0 is clear. Can you understand these equations? Can you understand these equations? You know, I can explain again. Before marrying must know knowledges. Before marrying must know knowledges. Yin and yang harmony is this. In all give to the yang. Then yin help strong yang. Here is strong yang. So then 10 all give to yang. So 0, 0, 0. So that what happened? Strong yang help in living safe. So this is strong safe. Strong safe. Where beginning? Here host, guest, 0. Host giving to the guest whole, and the guest is getting 0. Whatever. Stored 0, 0, 0. 0 빼기 0. This is clear. Yin and yang harmony of righteous soul woman meets odd and yang of man, and living righteous soul living examine the pleasure of interesting, and the macro concept old, safe and enough, turning to the righteous living destination as in minus yang equal 0. Righteous soul living in destination place is 0, so that in minus 0 is 0. Righteous soul in completion helping low over yin and yang harmony. Righteous soul in host all giving to the odd and the yang to be 0. So that in the righteous soul living in voyage to macro concept world to micro concept world, righteous soul living in destination place all process completions. People in the written my scripture on my scripture is using on blog. Okay, I explained it. I tried to talk in the blog basis talking. Maybe blog is much more helpful because in now talking is some whatever. This is same. I can. This is very complication talkings. Okay, I can just some part. Here is in host, then living is righteous living over each time is other helper but doing the love of others. Then order are to be feeling excitement and pleasure, so that here is a cosmos feeling. There is no problem but all settled, so that cosmos give to the wind host righteous living energy, but also yang host same righteous living energy getting. So the yin living getting righteous living energy, yang living getting righteous soul living energy. It based on keep living in yang harmony. In conclusion, yin get creation of knowledge, yang get creation of knowledge, yin living getting righteous soul living energy, yang living getting righteous living energy. This is in the righteous living destination place mission to the macro concept world voice, so that a righteous soul keep a yin and yang harmony in the macro concept world voyage, so that righteous soul macro concept world voyage mission clear. Creation of knowledge is limitless, righteous living energy limitless, so that to be macro concept world voyage mission complete is only living as yin and yang harmony. Woman, righteous soul living with the woman in getting married, righteous soul living and destination place yang meet completions. Creation of knowledge limitless, righteous living energy, righteous living limitless. In getting in getting marriage is to be completion of a righteous living in destination ordained for in to meet a yang, so that in meets ordained yang, so that here is yin and yang harmony. In meets ordains minus yang to be 0 over in minus yang equal 0. This is righteous soul in marriage ordains yang. His ordained yang is minus yang. Here is in minus yang equal 0 is in and yang harmony equations. In his host, yang is ordained guest. In meets ordains minus yang, meeting in his marriaging. He is in marriaging is, say again, meet ordained yang. Ordained yang is minus yang of guest. When in of the woman meets minus yang of man's marriaging. This is equation of in minus yang equal 0. In is host, yang is guest, so that woman on the getting marriage, creation of knowledge, in minus yang equal 0. In host, issue time is yang, help yang and doing real of the yang. Yang host, issue time is yang, help yang and doing real of yang. Strong God outside in. It is some differences, maybe in is doing real love, maybe inside, but yang is God for inside, so yang's role is needed strong physical powers is here, so that in the livings, in inside, just giving all 10 energy then for the purpose of the yang strong powers to keep secure and guard and inside, right? The marrying is in of the host meeting ordains yang. In inside, in doing love ordained yang. In outside ordained yang strong God in. It must know this creation knowledge is based on yin and yang harmony. Yin and yang in minus yang equal. In is host, yang is ordained to must be meet minus yang. Yin and yang harmony, righteous living in destined place, rule keeping so that in minus yang, macro conceptual working living is cosmos feeling, silence clear, so that creation knowledge on the in and harmony is completion. Righteous living energy on in and yang harmony to be completion, then in and yang harmony of the woman of host to be with ordained yang meet livings, in and yang harmony living, so that completion of the righteous soul macro conceptual voyage mission clear. Say again, I can talking on still before I said in and yang harmony of righteous soul, woman meets ordained yang of a man, and the living righteous soul of excitement and pleasure of interesting living and of macro conceptual world, safe and enough return to the righteous living destination place as in minus yang equal 0. Righteous soul living in destination place is 0, so that in minus yang is 0. Righteous soul in completing, helping the over yin and yang harmony. Righteous soul in host all give to the ordained to the yang to be 0, so that this righteous living voyage to macro conceptual to micro conceptual, righteous living destination place all process completion. Yes. Even this is based on some righteous living micro conceptual concepts, so all combining this, I'm talking on helping to people marrying must know the knowledges I taught to you. In conclusions, in the macro conceptual living is huge number of variances, so that huge number of the living patterns occurs. Even huge number of patterns of livings are, but my living is really valuable. My livings must be a completion of success in livings. My living must be safely returning to the righteous living destination places, so that in and yang harmony living is help to the marriage of a woman's how to livings. This is the basic of knowledge. As I said, that is in and yang harmony is always talk to you in the righteous living destination place of creators and creating the righteous soul, then in an harmony, then, and the hearing after, then the woman of the righteous soul decide, yes, I can live in over minus, so that you will come to ears. So that in is the whatever, in minus yang 0 equal 0. So in all giving, then in itself 0. So giving, accepting yang is 0 and equal 0 minus 0 equal 0 here. So that please, all you be, your marriage and livings, your whole life of living to be completion of righteous living energy, limitless, and creation knowledge, limitless. So your marriages and to be completion of the macro concept of the missions, righteous souls, then in the end of the macro concept of the self returning to the righteous living destiny place. Thank you.